Hey guys, so today I wanted to share one of my crazy stories with you guys, just so you can hear how bad I was to where I am now and that recovery is possible. No matter how bad you think you are, there is a way out. Years and years ago, I was already years into my active addiction. My tolerance was already through the roof. I was already mixing stuff. I was in a very dangerous place in my life, but I was also at the place where I had no fears. Nothing scared me. I thought I was invisible. I was that person. I was driving around with no license. I was staying up really late, waking up really early for whatever reason. So me doing that and mixing, I would wake up and I was nodding off. It was very scary. I was blacking out. I don't really remember a lot of it. I do know I ended up moving next door to a friend. She was doing the same things I was. I moved next door to her, and I honestly think I got worse moving next door to her. You know how it is, addicts feed off of each other. We just make things worse when we're around each other. I don't know if it's like justifiable or I don't know if it's just a mental thing. I don't know, you guys, but I got worse. I remember I was driving. It was raining. I remember that. I came around a curve, slid, hit a telephone pole because I nodded out a little bit, and I slid, but if I would have been alert and awake, I probably could have caught the wheel. I hit a telephone pole. It was very bad. The police came, all that. Long story short, my family, my mom was worried about me. My mom and my stepdad had moved to Chicago, so my mom wasn't anywhere near me to like check on me, so she was like freaking out. My mom and my stepdad ended up coming from Chicago with a U-Haul, packing up all of my stuff, and moving me to Chicago. It was crazy, like, just like that. If an addict isn't ready to get clean, they're not gonna stay clean. So you can try to force your family, your loved one, into recovery, but they have to want it. They have to really want it. I thought I wanted it, but I guess I didn't really want it. While I was in Chicago, I ended up having a kidney stone, put me in the hospital. I had to have surgery, those procedures. Of course, they prescribed me medication for the pain. While I was trying to be clean, I was like, okay, yeah, I'll take it. I'm in so much pain. I need it. Blah, blah, blah. All that stuff I was telling myself. Yes, it hurt, but me now that I went through that, you know, last year, I made it through. Yes, it hurt, but I got through it. All I did was feed my addiction when I took that medicine. In my mind, I'm like, oh, it's a prescription from the doctor. My mom can help me, you know, make sure I take it right, which I was still begging her for that. So what that did, for all the people out there saying you can take medicine for pain and recovery, this is why all recovering addicts cannot. Me taking prescribed medication, even with my mom giving it to me the way I was supposed to take it, was enough for me to completely relapse. And that's what I did. I met a guy while I was there. I didn't know he was using when I met him. I think we met like online. I don't know if it was MySpace or Facebook. I don't remember what was that. I think it was MySpace back then. I don't remember. We started hanging out and, you know, long story short, he told me what he did and I'm like, oh man, the one person that I meet, of course, I don't know if I subliminally looked for it, but I do know when I was going through my stuff that we moved from Tennessee to Chicago, I found some of my tools. I found some of the tools that I was using in active addiction. They were new, but still, I guess I had threw them in. They were in my totes. Probably when they were probably shoved in something and I just, you know, everything was just tossed and we just left. So meeting a guy that was using on top of finding that was the perfect recipe for a disaster. And guess what? I relapsed. So I was lying to my family. I was taking the medicine from my mom still, like my prescription, the way I was supposed to. But then I was lying and going and meeting this guy and using. I mean, I spiraled within like, I relapsed and then spiraled quick. It got to where I was in downtown Chicago by myself, meeting dealers that I didn't know, going to the alleyway, just getting someone's number, calling them, and then just going and getting in the car with them, meeting them in a dark alley, and then going back to my mom's house. I'm like, what? Now when I look back on that, I'm like, what the heck was I thinking? What was I doing? Where? Just don't go back to that, because you don't want to lose your life over that. It's not worth your life. We ended up moving back to Tennessee. This is my karma, you guys. Me and my mom took a plane back to Tennessee. When I got off the plane, there was a bounty hunter there waiting for me. I still think my stepdad told on me, but either way, I went to jail. I had just had my kidney stone surgery. I was still dealing with that. And I remember I asked the bounty hunter if I could take my meds. I was like, can I take them with me? He's like, no. And I was like, well, can I take some of them then before I go into jail? I was like, they're not, because they won't let you have your meds in jail. You can't take pain meds in with you. They're not going to give them to you, okay? But I tried. But he let me take some of the pain meds. He told me just to take my, regular dose. But yeah, okay. I took a handful. Went to jail. I was in pain. They did not care that I just had surgery. My back was bruised. They didn't care. I had to sit through jail, wait to get bonded out, all that good stuff. And yeah, my life just, you would have thought I would have learned then, but I didn't. I still ended up staying on the wrong path for years after that. And it just got worse and worse and worse. The last few years I was in active addiction is when I was at my complete worst. I was homeless. I had no car. I had nothing, just a bag of clothes for a little while until somebody would steal it. Other addicts will come around and take your stuff. That's the life that you lived, So yeah, I played that ridiculous game with chasing my tail for years until finally I had enough. I know all jails don't offer help to addicts, whether it's while they're in jail or when they get out. But if you're ever in that situation, ask. Always ask. Doesn't matter, ask. Probation officer, ask. I was asking my probation officer when I was in jail. I was asking the public defenders. I was asking everybody that I came in contact with, every CO, every mental health doctor, anybody that I saw, I would ask if they offered any kind of programs, because sometimes one person might know, sometimes one person might not know, one jail might do it, one might not, and it's the same outside of jail. Just start asking everybody. If you're in a position and you need help and you don't know where to turn to, just start asking everybody. Go to a meeting. People at the meetings know. People at the meetings can send you one way or another. Start calling rehabs, detox facilities, sober livings. I know there's government grants too. I got a government grant years ago. It was for rehab. It only covered 28 days in rehab, but still it was something. It was something. There are places that will work with you financially. They will let you pay like a certain amount up front and you work and pay weekly or whatever. There are different opportunities out there. There are different programs out there. So no matter what situation you're in, always ask for help. Even if you're in recovery and you're just struggling with life, because life is tough. And not just because we're in recovery, just life in general. Inflation, just everything. Things are tough right now for a lot of people. Always reach out for help. There is always a way. There is always somebody that knows something. Of course, don't give all your information out to everybody, but it's okay to ask for help. Somebody might have been through the exact same thing that you're going through and know at least the first step or what direction to send you in to help you. So yeah, I just wanted to share that crazy story because as much as we want to help someone that is suffering, they have to want it. I mean, fully, like, they have to be like so sick of that life. They just have to just be done with it. And some of us, like myself, it takes longer. Some of us, we think we want it, and then we play the game where we think we can handle it, we can control it, we can control our addiction. I'll just do it here and there, or if I get this bad, or I would never do that. If I ever do that, I'll stop. I think we've all played those scenarios in our head, which I went through all of them, fighting my own mind for years until finally I was like exhausted, just drained, you guys. Everything inside of me was just out. Like, I swear you could look in my eyes and you wouldn't even know who I was. It was just blank. I hope my stories help you guys. I'll drop some links in the description of just different websites if you guys need any kind of help with anything, maybe meetings or resources. Whatever websites I can find, I'll drop in the description for you guys. Hopefully that'll help. Or if any of you guys know, leave a comment. We have an awesome community on here. If you're new here, welcome to our community. Our community is awesome. We are always just a comment or a message away. I have an email. You guys can reach out, Tinassee@gmail.com. I try to get to as many as you guys as I can. Nobody has to be alone. I'm going to try to figure out a way to, I don't know if I can do like a chat, like a group chat or something. I have some ideas for some stuff. It's just going to be a process. So when the day comes, until then, we have each other. We are here right now. None of you are alone. Just reach out for help. I hope this video helps. See you guys.